Welcome back to my channel for data, machine learning, and tech career. In today's video, I'm going to cover the 5 main pillars of a data organization and the business areas that the data team will focus on based on the business pillars. So the first pillar I want to talk about is sales analytics. And so in the sales analytics, they're more focused on the revenue, pretty much talking about money. Like it's all about that. Money, 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 money. So since we're talking about money, revenue is the number one thing to drive the company and to drive growth. So in terms of revenue, like what companies really, basic understanding of what the revenue is coming from by product, by category, like Amazon will probably want to understand what products or what category is driving the most revenue for the Amazon as a selling platform. And so once you have that, you can acquire more sellers that are in these specific categories, and that can help drive more revenue. And even more understanding of the sales analytics is that what are the adjacent categories that people like to purchase together. And so you can, drive people that like this kind of products, also like this kind. So then we can drive people to, buy as a package deal instead of just buying one item at a time. So the second I want to talk about is sales compensation. So a lot of sales are commission based, and if your company is running your company based on these sales, then you have to compensate these sales based on a commission. But in order to calculate, how much are we supposed to compensate our sales, you have to pull a lot of data and to make sure that there's no fraudulent activities and to make sure that the sales are actually compensated equally. So at the orders level, you can actually bundle specific items together and to make some sort of promo package to help with your sales and revenue. And this strategy will have to come down into the at the orders level instead of a high level like a revenue, looking at the categories. So second one is marketing analytics. You can focus on the digital ads or physical ads or campaigns. Like this one is a physical ad, but then you might also need to look into, a digital ad like this one that's displayed on Facebook, but it's sponsored by Amazon. And then you can see, what goes into an ad, like the images, the button, and the wording in your campaign. And that will be how you will focus on analyzing the marketing analytics. Since marketing is all about spending that money, then we really have to be careful about how much we're spending and what is a return on investment. And that's what ROI means. So return on investment is kind of like you have to calculate, how much it costs to actually acquire one user. Like how much money are they really gonna generate for one user for your platform? Is it really worth it? Like how much you spend and how much you actually get the user to, generate that revenue is really important. And then doing an A/B test, such as like the button can be a different color, can be different wording. Instead of sign up, maybe do learn more. Like what is more effective, and like different images and different wording for your campaign can all be different. And so you create all these variations of your campaigns, and then do an A/B test to understand which one is the most effective. And then you also need to track, the CTR, which is a click through rate. So like from impress or from seeing the ad to actually clicking on the ad and to actually purchasing something or to actually install or to actually do the action your company expect the user to do, that's called your click-through rate. So the third one I want to talk about is customer support analytics. So usually it breaks down into 3 main categories of how a company support their customers through either phone, email, or chat. So the most common way of calculating your metric for customer support is NPS, which stands for Net Promoter Score. And so Net Promoter Score is usually calculated from the survey that they send you at the end of your customer support experience. And they usually ask you a question like, how did you like your experience with with a representative or just experience as a whole? And then you will do the calculation by the percentage of 9 and 10s to minus the percentage of a 1 and 6. So this is out of the score of 1 to 10. And so 7 is considered as neutral in this case. And then you have contact rate. So contact rate is also very important metric in the customer support, because we want to see, how many units were sold or how many active users we have and how many users have problems with either the products or how many of the users has problem with the app or any of the products that they're using. So then that will be your contact rate, is a percentage of the people who contact us divided by a percentage of active users. because the customer support is a cost organization, so then tracking the cost of how much it costs to handle a phone call with customer or handle an email with customer is really important. And also because customers usually prefer a specific channel of method to get a problem solved. So then if it's a problem that can be solved through a self-serve like website or some sort of video instruction, then we should always go towards those channel or like those methods than trying to solve a problem during a phone call. So before I go into a fourth one, please make sure you subscribe to learn more about data, and always let me know what kind of analyst you're most interested in. For operations analytics, I probably break it down into forward logistics and return logistics. So forward logistics is like, if you have a physical product, you have to ship it out, and that'll be your forward logistics. And the return logistics will be like getting all the returns. So usually operations focus on like percentage of an order fulfilled or business health. So usually operations department, they have a lot of business health metrics that I have to track, and breaking down let's say like shipping our product into very small processes, such as the order confirmed, was it actually sent out, and how long did it take to actually ship the product. And they'll break it all these down to very specific metrics, so then that when there's something wrong with the order, you will actually be able to know which part of it is wrong, and we can improve efficiency by specific steps instead of just say, oh, it didn't go on time. So the fifth one is product analytics. I personally really like working in product because I think each company, the most important thing is the product. I mean, there's also marketing and sales, those are very important as well, but I'm very interested into like how do we determine what features need to be built into a product, and how do we determine why is this how it's supposed to look like, or why are we adding these functions. So like like for example, Amazon as a selling platform will actually be a product, and that like what we're interested in is like these features, like when does it actually need to sign in, like the pop-up needs to sign in. And these are really important in terms of like user experience and user journey, so that I like to break it down into the features and like the user journey people had to go through, and break it down into a funnel for for a business to understand how the user typically go through a product features. And in product analytics, you have to focus a lot on the A/B test of the features, such as the sign in button. Should it be 3 seconds or 5 seconds? And you should only. I mean, it's better to only change one thing at a time. Like don't like try to change all the colors and try to change how long it takes to pop up. Like that's too many variables that you can have. But focus on what can we really drive users to use the specific features that we want them to use, or even the revenue generation generating features. And then there's also the feature usage part, and then so we want to help the users to either, if they didn't even know about the feature, then we want to give them prompts to know about features, and then how do we make sure they adapt to new features that we create, and these are the things you're interested in. And also the user flow metrics, such as the funnel, how are users going through these.